Hi guys, good morning and welcome to day 2 of my 10-day vlog countdown to the publication of Girl on the Line, which is going to be published on the 17th of May. You can pre-order it now, so if you can't wait till the 17th, you can just order it and it will come through to you without you having to think about it. Go to Amazon. So today what I'm going to do is a reading from the book, and this reading is from chapter 17. And I'll just read out the call that we're attending and then I will skip to the interesting bit. Obviously all of it is interesting, but you know. Right, so. Immediate graded call now to Brixley Central Tube Station. IC4 male acting suspiciously outside station, chanting in Arabic, wearing a rucksack with visible wires hanging out. Trevor has killed the sirens and we glide to the curb outside the station in silence. There are around 6 or 7 people milling around the concourse in various commuter stances. Man looking at phone, white, no rucksack. Lady with a small girl. 3 young adults laughing together. A man sweeping the street in a high visibility jacket. My gaze flicks from one to the other, eliminating each in turn. None of them is our suspect. My mind has made these assessments in the fraction of a second that it takes for us to climb out of the vehicle. We pause by the car as Trevor speaks low into his radio. Bravo 1 on scene. Receive Bravo 1. It's as Trevor is clipping his personal radio back onto his Met vest that we see him. And I know that each of us has clocked him at the same time because I feel Trevor tense and Keris freeze as the breath sticks in my throat. He steps out of the station entrance and onto the neat brickwork of the concourse. The only thick thing about him is his dark beard. The rest of his frame is gnarled and twig-like. His cheekbones are sharp, but his eyes have the watery look of madness as they jump from my face to Trevor's and Cerise's and back again. He wears the black and red rucksack on his front, which on its own looks weird enough. More concerning is the thick red wire that runs from the base of the rucksack on his right up and over his left shoulder. It reappears on the right side of his neck and seems to tuck into his collar a couple of inches below. I'm just grateful it's not running into one of his hands. No dead man's trigger. My eyes flick back to the rucksack. It's full and pendulous. The crisscross laces at the front pull tight against the bulging canvas. The shoulder straps dig into his bony shoulders, the material taut, stretching in the middle and rolling in at the edges. I wonder if his shoulders are aching under the strain. I wonder what's in the rucksack and think back to the discarded bomb at Wormwood Scrubs. I imagine the black and red canvas of his rucksack packed with soft yellow explosive, dotted with nails and screws. There are 4 metres between us. The public continue to move around like lazy bees circling a hive. I'm aware of them in my peripheral, but my entire focus is on the man with the rucksack. Time stretches and warps as an invisible tunnel opens up between us, everything outside it fading to grey. Like a slipstream of current under the ocean, the only people in it, us and him. The world's detritus separated from us by an invisible wall of water. We are perfectly still as we regard each other. I'm aware that it's less than a second before we act, less than a second before we are forced to act, but something in me wishes that this second could last forever, that we could all stay frozen this way, unharmed, whole. Moving slow, I twist my head to the right and slide my right arm up to my personal radio. I press the transmit button and the muted bleep tells me I'm on the air. Bravo X-ray from 215, suspect in sight at entrance to Holywell Tube. We are switching radios to safe mode. I twist the volume down so my radio is silent. I don't hear the reply, I don't need to hear it. The only thing I need to focus on is the man with the rucksack. I nod to Keris as Trevor switches off his radio and she fumbles to do the same. It's been drummed into us since day one that you don't use your radio when dealing with explosives. There's a risk that the transmission of radio signals near an explosive device could trigger the detonator. I also don't want the noise of the radio chatter to interfere with whatever negotiations we are about to embark upon, if he gives us a chance to negotiate. He hasn't moved since we arrived, his hands still hang limp by his sides, his legs slightly parted, feet firmly planted on the ground. We move forward as 3, slowly closing the gap between us and him. And then the little girl runs through the slipstream between him and us, and her tiny form ignites me from within. My mind fumbles for the right words as she teeters towards the doors. How to convey the urgency without setting off the tinderbox. Aware that any sudden actions could worsen the situation, but desperate to get the girl and her mother out of there. And the phrase that's been drilled into me at officer safety training every 6 months, year in, year out. The phrase that I've shouted too many times to remember. The phrase that gets to the point and grabs attention fires from my mouth and cuts through the concourse like a bullet. Get back! A jolt runs through the mother and her face turns from me to her daughter to the man with the rucksack. Like an electric current, her shock runs through the commuters and I feel the atmosphere around me thicken as realisation hits them one by one. Movement explodes all around me. The girl is whisked up by her mother and she runs past us away from the station. The people around us starburst away from the entrance. Somebody shouts and the man with the rucksack raises his arms. Trevor has closed the gap and is standing directly in front of him. Keris and I stand either side of Trevor so that we surround the man on each side. A glance at her shows me pale skin and wide eyes. It takes me a moment to register that his arm's in the air are not a sign of surrender. I follow the glaring wire as it snakes up the inside of his arm and into his closed fist. He's breathing so hard that his nostrils flare with each breath. His eyes are bulging and almost rolling back in his head. From where I'm standing, I can see each bead of sweat on his forehead. A strong musk wafts from his exposed armpits as I feel my own sweat gather on my top lip. A beat of silence before Trevor speaks. Do you want to talk about it? A flicker of confusion crosses the man's face. He glances from Trevor to me and back again. His lips twitch. In the distance, a siren starts to wail. His eyebrows knit at the sound and he straightens his arms above him, shutting his eyes and tilting back his head. A wave of fear hits me. This is it. He's going to press the button. So, that's the little teaser that you're getting today. If you enjoyed that and you'd like to read more, then please pre-order your copy of Girl on the Line or wait until the 17th of May and you can go and buy it. I hope you enjoyed that. I'll be back tomorrow with another vlog and yeah, so 9 days to go. Woo! Bye!